You know what? There's nothing worse than watching someone you think you can protect get dragged into your mess. There's nothing more devastating than seeing the people you care about pay the price for your mistakes, your lies, your cover-ups. And what happened today, what I witnessed, when those new Epstein documents dropped and Melania's name started trending, that was exactly that kind of moment for Trump. I've been around long enough to know when a man is genuinely shocked, genuinely caught off guard by something he never saw coming. And Trump's reaction to Melania being implicated in this Epstein mess, to her name being connected to activities and events that she probably hoped would stay buried forever, that was pure shock. That was a man who thought he could keep his family out of it, who thought he could control the narrative, who thought he could protect the people closest to him from the fallout of his own actions. But that's not how scandals work, especially scandals this big, this serious, this connected to Jeffrey Epstein. When you're dealing with someone like Epstein, when you're talking about the kind of activities he was involved in, the kind of people he associated with, the kind of parties he threw, nobody stays clean. Nobody gets to claim they didn't know what was going on. And nobody, not even the First Lady of the United States, is immune from scrutiny. The documents that came out today, the ones that mention Melania by name, that detailed her presence at certain events, that described her interactions with Epstein and his associates, those documents paint a picture that Trump obviously never wanted the public to see. Because this isn't just about him anymore. This isn't just about his relationship with Epstein, his knowledge of Epstein's activities, his possible involvement in covering them up. This is about his wife, his family, the people he's supposed to protect. And you could see it in his face when the news broke. You could see it in his body language, in the way he carried himself, in the way he tried to control his reaction but couldn't quite manage it. This wasn't the usual Trump bluster, the usual angry denials, the usual attacks on his accusers. This was different. This was personal in a way that all his other scandals weren't. Because here's the thing about Trump. For all his faults, for all his lies and crimes and moral failures, he does seem to genuinely care about Melania. He does seem to want to protect her from the worst aspects of his political life, from the scandals and controversies and legal problems that surround him. And seeing her name dragged through this Epstein mess, seeing her reputation damaged by her association with activities that are beyond disgusting, that's got to hurt him in a way that his own legal problems don't. But what really makes this devastating for Trump is that he can't deny it. He can't claim fake news or deep state conspiracies or partisan witch hunts. These are documents, photographs, witness statements that place Melania at specific events with specific people at specific times. These are facts, not opinions. These are records, not rumors. And the timing couldn't be worse for him. Just when he thought maybe the Epstein story was dying down, just when he thought maybe he could weather this particular storm, suddenly his wife is front and center in the scandal. Suddenly the woman he's tried to keep above the fray, the woman he's tried to present as dignified and respectable and completely separate from his political controversies, suddenly she's being asked the same questions he's been dodging for months. What did she know? When did she know it? What did she see at those parties, those gatherings, those events where Jeffrey Epstein was present and active? Did she witness anything inappropriate? Did she report anything to authorities? Did she participate in any way in covering up activities that she should have exposed? Those are the questions that are being asked now. Those are the questions that Melania is going to have to answer, either in court or in congressional testimony or in depositions that will become public record. And for Trump, watching his wife have to face those questions, watching her be subjected to that kind of scrutiny, that's got to be torture. Because Trump knows what those events were like. Trump knows what Jeffrey Epstein's parties involved. Trump knows what kind of activities were happening, what kind of behavior was tolerated, what kind of crimes were being committed. And if Melania was there, if she was present, if she was a witness to any of it, then she's not just a victim of guilt by association. She's potentially a witness to federal crimes. And that's what makes this so much worse for Trump than any of his previous scandals. Because this isn't just about him anymore. This isn't something he can handle with his usual playbook of denial, deflection, and attack. When your wife's name is in Jeffrey Epstein's documents, when there are records of her attending events where crimes against children may have been planned or discussed or covered up, you can't just tweet your way out of that problem. The specific details in these documents, what they reveal about Melania's presence at certain gatherings, her interactions with key figures in Epstein's circle, her knowledge of activities that were happening around her, that's all going to come out now. That's all going to be scrutinized, investigated, potentially used as evidence in criminal proceedings. And there's nothing Trump can do to stop it. You can see the panic in how he's trying to handle this. Instead of his usual aggressive counterattacks, instead of his typical strategy of going on the offensive against his accusers, he's been almost silent about the Melania angle. He's been trying to ignore it, hoping it will go away, desperately trying to keep the focus on anything else. That tells you how scared he is about where this leads. Because Trump knows that if Melania becomes a central figure in the Epstein investigation, if she's called to testify, if she's forced to answer questions under oath about what she saw and heard and knew, that could be devastating for him, not just politically, but legally. A wife can't be forced to testify against her husband, but she can certainly be compelled to testify about what she witnessed at events where crimes may have been committed. And the documents suggest she witnessed a lot. They place her at parties where young girls were present, at gatherings where inappropriate activities were allegedly happening, at events where Jeffrey Epstein was actively recruiting and exploiting minors. If that's true, if she saw any of that and didn't report it, that makes her potentially complicit in a cover-up. That makes her a potential defendant, not just a witness. But what really has Trump spiraling is how this affects their marriage, their family, their personal relationship. Because Melania has always maintained a certain distance from Trump's political controversies. She's always presented herself as above the fray, as someone who's focused on her role as First Lady and mother, not on the scandals and legal problems that surround her husband. But this Epstein connection threatens to destroy that carefully crafted image. This threatens to make her look not like an innocent bystander, but like someone who was actively involved in Jeffrey Epstein's social circle. Someone who participated in events where horrible things were happening to children. Someone who may have known about crimes and said nothing. And you know what? Trump can't protect her from that. He can't use his presidential powers to shield his wife from congressional subpoenas or criminal investigations. He can't tweet away documentary evidence or photographic proof of her presence at these events. For maybe the first time since he became president, Trump is facing a problem he can't solve, a scandal he can't control, a situation where his usual tactics are completely useless. The strain this is putting on their marriage, on their family, on their personal relationship. You can see it even in their public appearances now. The way they interact or don't interact. The way Melania looks when reporters ask about the Epstein documents. The way Trump tries to change the subject whenever her name comes up in that context. It's all different now. There's a tension there that wasn't there before. A distance that suggests this scandal is tearing them apart from the inside. And that's probably what hurts Trump the most. Not the legal implications, not the political damage, but the personal cost. Watching his wife's reputation be destroyed by her association with Jeffrey Epstein, watching her be forced to answer questions about activities she probably hoped would stay private forever, watching their marriage be subjected to this kind of scrutiny and pressure, that's got to be eating him alive. Because Trump understands that this isn't just about whether they can survive this scandal politically. This is about whether they can survive it personally. This is about whether their marriage can withstand the pressure of having Melania's name connected to some of the most despicable crimes in recent history. This is about whether their family can stay together when the full truth about their involvement with Jeffrey Epstein finally comes out. And right now, watching how they're handling this crisis, watching how the stress is affecting their relationship, watching how desperate Trump is to keep Melania out of the headlines, I'm not sure they can. I'm not sure any marriage